Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone of 5B, and this is the last garden tour of September. I don't know if I could pick a more perfect day for this garden tour because it is absolutely gorgeous out right now, but the garden is starting to go to sleep. I am starting to pull some stuff out, so it's not quite where it used to be. There is a few things still coming in, but for the most part, I'm thinking about cleanup. But let me show you. I haven't started you out this direction for a little while, and as you can tell, it is much more open than it used to be. All of those plants have been pulled out. I still have this tomato plant right here, but I did trim it back quite a bit because all of this used to be over top of my strawberry plants. And when I started looking under, I saw that a lot of this had started to die back. So I wanted to open it up again, so I cut this back quite a bit. But if I'm honest, this plant will probably be going in the next week or so. Because at this point in the season, it's mostly just putting more growth on and not necessarily fruit. I am also thinking about pulling up this ground cherry plant and then getting the last of the harvest off of that so that I don't have to worry about that later. The idea right now is to probably clean out most of the in-ground bed first and then start working on the beds, which is part of the reason why this is all gone here. This used to be what, 4 or 5 tomato plants and a couple of volunteer ground cherries, and now it's gone. And I've also started cleaning up the pots. If you remember, I used to have a tomato plant in there, but it wasn't doing too well, so I pulled it out. But all of these basil plants are starting to come back because we're hitting the right kind of temperatures again, including, this one makes me giggle, this little guy right here. So, might get some more basil before the end of the season. But I have cut back significantly this ground cherry. I'm waiting for these beans to start drying out a little bit. Some of these are probably ready, and then I'll harvest all of those cowpeas. I have this butter baby plant that has a whole bunch of butter babies on it that at some point I need to come and harvest. And I keep showing you all of these candy roasters. I'm hoping they'll be ready by the time the frost hits to harvest. We've got 13 to 15 days is my guess before that frost hits us. But this one for sure will be ready. That end is definitely starting to die off, and as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of squash bugs. Yeah, they're just hanging out. Cool. It looks like I have a random ground cherry plant that I didn't realize was here. It had interwoven itself with the squash, and there are a lot of ground cherries in there. Oops, well, surprise! Even this late in the season, surprise! I also cut back that tomato plant, and I need to harvest these onions soon. Otherwise, pepper plants, I've been getting a few off of those. Big thing right now is this butterkin this vine is thriving. We're even starting to get blossoms again, if you can see. We won't have time for anything else to produce on it. And I think, for the most part, this is all green. I've got a few of these, but I don't know if they're going to ripen in time. Still have this one right here that I need to harvest. I was giving it a little bit more time, but that should be good in the next couple days or so. And it looks like that one might actually have time to ripen. Oh, hey! So, the pepper plants in here, it looks like I actually got a pepper off of one of them that I need to harvest. Let's see if I can. Oh, I don't know if I can get to it safely. I'm going to put you down. I don't know the best way to get to that pepper. It's just, there's just too much. Can't remember quite what this one was. Oh, and there's another little one down there. Oh, that was a patchwork pepper. Oh, and it looks like I got a pepper on the other plant too. Let's see if I can pick you guys back up. So as you can see, that other pepper plant's got some peppers on it too. So I did manage to save those pepper plants. Okay, let's see if I can get out without falling over. Looks like I've got a bolt pepper. I'm just going to be harvesting peppers today. But this is my sweet peppers. I'm finding peppers here and there. And I think with the weather as it is, I'm probably not going to find a whole bunch more, but I might get a bunch of green stuff before the end of the season. I've honestly just been trimming back these tomatoes. I need to pull them. They're a mess. I haven't been harvesting a lot of tomatoes anymore, but when I see some good ones, I'll of course harvest them. But a lot of them are getting taken out by bugs and are really thick and blemished, so they're not really worth the harvest. Which at this point is most of the garden, because I did plant a lot of tomatoes, so it's not too surprising. I still really love this view right here. I'm probably going to have to replace the pump in this pond. It's working, but it's really gummy. The lilies kind of gummed up the water a little bit, and as you can see, they're struggling. But I can't overwinter these anyways, so that's okay. I'll just get some new ones next season. I mean, we've got some really big green tomatoes. Looks like I've got some interestingly... Ooh. Do I want those? Do I want them? I don't know. Hold on. These are the pineapple tomatoes, and this is what I'm fighting right now. So I might be able to get some off of it, but I don't know if it's worth it because it's got a lot of bug damage and such. There are, hold on. Oh, those right there. Which might be... They look like they're coming from that corner, so they might be the Dr. Witchies. This ahi. This is an ahi mango, and it's ginormous. I don't know if I'm gonna grow it again next year. It's a little bit more of a kick than I prefer. But this tomato plant is growing right into the pepper bed, which is not kind. But otherwise, we've got poblanos, which have been delicious this year. And it looks like I've got more of the habanadas that need harvested. But otherwise, more tomato plants. Which it looks like we've got a couple of ripening tomatoes that I could possibly check out, but don't have a lot of hope for. And then my bean plants that, ooh, looks like a pea. There's something in there. It might be one of the old pea plants that the beans covered. But I haven't gotten any beans off of these. I think I've been fighting something. Oh, nope. That might be a bean. Look at that. I might have a few here and there. That's exciting. I really need to come through and harvest these peppers. I tried to do it last week, but there was a frog who didn't really want me to, so decided to do it another day. But I just realized, hold on, that I have a whole bunch of eggplant in here. Like, a whole bunch that I didn't even know about. I thought this plant had died. Well, that's a surprise. This garden's surprising me. I think part of me had written off a lot of this garden because I was just done with tomatoes. I was just done with harvesting and processing and preserving and eating, if I'm honest. But coming out here today and finding all of that, that's... Might have to think of something to do with the eggplant. But I suppose now we go to the wild part. So we're still eating the stairs with these tomato plants. I can't get in any of these plants from this side. It's getting silly. I can harvest from the other side, but not this side. I need to just start pulling some of these out along with some of these pine berries. I never intended the pine berries to take over like this. Here we are. Hi, me. I did end up taking out the Brad's Atomic, so there's just celery in this bed right now, and it is really starting to take off again. Also looks like I've got some strawberries. Some of them have been eaten by ants, but this one's still good. But some of those other ones have been eaten. I did harvest all of the peaches off this tree. There ended up being about 7. And it also looks like we have more eggplants over here that need harvested. He did end up taking out the tomato plant that had been right here. And the blueberry plants are still over there. That pot is empty up there. And I'm hoping when we redo the beds that we can build up a second retaining wall right there so we don't have quite the same amount of wash off as we do right now. But yeah, these garden tours are getting shorter again. I'm not sure how many more of these I will do, but here she is. Like I said, I don't know how many garden tours I have left for this season. I'm really gonna start thinking about pulling all this up, especially since we want to start putting in those new beds and thinking about what all of that looks like. So I need to empty these, and I need to get all of the trellises and supports back into storage. I might have one or two, most likely just one, before this thing is bare or nearly bare. So I might start showing you some of the cleanup. It's a little harder for me to film that kind of stuff because I get really into the cleanup process that I don't think about filming it. So we'll see how that goes. But if you want to continue to see how this garden progresses, or if you want to see how I'm thinking about the next gardening season, you're welcome to subscribe down below. Hit the bell, do all the things to get all of the notifications. I also have a Threads and Instagram account if you want to check me out over there as well. I do a lot of photo documenting of the things I'm harvesting, what I'm doing in the garden, because that's a lot easier and a little less intrusive to the process that is required sometimes to maintain this. So feel free to follow me anywhere and everywhere. I would absolutely love that. I'm gonna go and check out those tomatoes we just saw to see if they're salvageable in any way, shape, or form. And then I'm gonna get this video out to you. So I hope to see you guys again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.